We switch gears now to the energy sector. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited has clarified its decision to divest its 7.2% stake in the Dangote Refinery. In a recent interview posted on YouTube, NNPC's Chief Corporate Communications Officer, Olufemi Soneye, explained that the corporation opted to reallocate its investment towards projects across the country. After recognizing that compressed natural gas is a more affordable and sustainable energy alternative for Nigerians, Soneye also emphasized that NNPC had no involvement in any sabotage of the Dangote Refinery, noting that it would be counterproductive for the corporation to undermine the plant. He pointed out that NNPC is a significant shareholder in the 650,000 barrel per day petrochemical facility with a substantial investment of billions of naira. And in due course, we're being joined by Energy Analyst Seun Dania. He joins me live via video chat to discuss this further. Seun, thank you so much for coming on. I have to ask, from the top, what are your thoughts on this statement by the NNPC that it's lowering its stake in Dangote Refinery for CNG investment?
I mean, it's a good strategic shift. Basically, it sounds like a deliberate move towards cleaner, more affordable energy sources. However, it is bad that it's coming at this time because definitely that commitment had been made to the Dangote Group like a couple of years ago, and only for the government to then now pull back at this time. It doesn't sound well. Definitely to affect the financial position of the Dangote Refinery project.
I worry.
Yeah, but technically, it's a good thing.
I'm concerned about the type of message you would put out to other persons who are looking to invest and maybe into the refineries. But away from that, you talked about them divesting into cleaner energy, which is what we've been, glamorizing for. That's what the world is at this point. But what is the expected return on investment for the CNG venture? And if you mind me asking, how will it compare to the potential returns from the Dangote Refinery stake?
Also, the positive thing is the government is definitely looking towards the impact on the country as a whole and on the citizens. But in terms of actual return on investment, it will depend on a lot of factors. Because a lot of money needs to go into infrastructure development, CNG adoption rate, general gas prices, and operational efficiency. While CNG is cheaper than petrol, the initial investment in that infrastructure has to be very significant, and you have to educate a lot of people. You have to also let people convert their cars over time. But comparing it with the Dangote Refinery investment, definitely the Dangote Refinery will return more, will give you more returns in the shorter term, and that I believe that is what Nigeria needs right now. But cleaner energy always wins.
I'm telling you that. And you say what Nigeria needs right now in terms of internal generated revenue. And so and you also said, you pointed to infrastructural development for CNG distribution. And so we know that Nigeria and the government and, sustainability and infrastructural maintenance is a statement that cannot happen, or words or phrases that cannot happen in the same statement. And so I have to ask you, how can then the government ensure the safety and integrity of the CNG distribution network when it comes to pipelines and building infrastructure? And what measures will be taken or should be taken to prevent leaks and accidents in the future?
I believe that the government will definitely put out something like the way they did with the NLNG, right? Partner with it should be a public-private partnership. We have other stakeholders coming, but of course there needs to be very strong, robust regulations and standards because the oil and gas sector, because gas is very volatile. In terms of the design, the construction, operational maintenance, they cannot joke with it. There has to be rigorous inspections and audits carried out, regularly. Training and recertification of all the staff and components. Basically, all the operators needs to be strong. We need to make sure that we have very, very solid emergency response procedures. Put in place, and then of course public awareness. Does the government have enough resources for this? I doubt it, but definitely we've seen the success of the NLNG project. Where they partner with other stakeholders, and I believe that very much to see CNG. See the CNG, see the light of day and be safe and, for everybody around the country. I'm sure that that's the same direction that the government will take.
I'm so glad you brought up PPP, public-private partnership, and you cited the case of LNG, right? And it circles back to my earlier question about Dangote Refineries and NNPCL. This was a public-private partnership, and now they're choosing to divest in spite of the MOUs and memorandum of understanding and all of the contractual agreement that they have in the past. What kind of message would that pass on to people who are then looking to align with the government and invest in CNG? What if they choose in next 5 years to say, okay, well, we're switching back gears, we're not doing this anymore? What then will happen?
Unfortunately, policy somersault has been one of the significant downsides of the Nigerian government, and that's why a lot of people do not want to invest in Nigeria or actually leave. There's always change in policy that, probably not well considered, but the Dangote Group has invested quite a lot in the refinery project, only for the government to then put out. For people who want to have, public-private partnerships with the government only needs to come in the aspect of providing clear regulation, maybe providing things like manpower, providing things like land assets and whatnot, so that people will not expect anything, out of. People should not be expecting too much from the government, pretty much.
And again, I ask again
to dampen, sentiments of investors.
And I ask again, what then would happen to investors who are looking to partner with the government? So that's a bigger question when we look at this here. But Seun, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you for doing this with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Energy Analyst, thank you. Energy Analyst Seun Dania was here, just talk to us about the NNPCL's move to invest more in CNG.